Hey everybody, welcome to Digi May, doing Stardew Valley.
Yo.
May was just, before we started the recording, addressing the criticisms that she did not farm in
So
the previous
this
episode.
motherfucker's like, oh, you didn't farm. I'm a mermaid. I'm gonna fish. Even though I don't know how to fish. I will also farm, but this will primarily...
I think you're meant to just cut down all the shit in your front yard and farm there.
Probably.
Because your house is the farm.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't know why I'm going into town.
Yeah.
But why not?
Well, I think that's... You took the mindset to this game that I think I would have, which is explore everything. Like my immediate thought would not have been, I need to clean up my house and farm. It would have been, I need to see the entire world and know everything I can do before I start, you know? But I do think you're meant to chop up all that grass, because it's all just like weeds and shit. Like, including the flowery, yeah, that shit. Yeah, fuck them. Yeah. That's really satisfying.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking
The way
awesome.
that they move is, the way the grass moves is really satisfying.
I love it.
Anyway, Digi May do. We got a shitload of
We have
topics.
so many things to talk about. So little time.
It's amazing. We recorded the last one like 2 or 3 days ago, and at the time we had like barely anything to talk about, and now suddenly we have a ton of things to talk about.
Yeah.
But the first one I want to get into, because I'm excited, is we went to our first concert together.
Woo!
Yeah, last night.
Motherfucker.
And it was a great time, and all kinds of stuff happened. So we went to a concert for the band Touche Amore.
Who is fucking dope. If you
Yeah.
haven't heard of them, you should listen to their fucking shit.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're one of those bands that, like, I like them, but I've never... Whoa, that was weird. Can you just, like, keep switching it between...
Yeah, I guess so.
Dirt and sand or whatever?
Is this how I farm? I don't
know. The seeds? Hey, you're planting seeds.
I planted a seed. Oh, fuck, baby.
You're farming it up, dude.
Oh, no. It's all over.
Why? Because you learned how to farm and now...
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's already raining. I don't know if you got water.
Fuck
Maybe
you.
do.
I'm watering this shit. I'm loving my plants.
So, yeah, Touche Amore was coming. They're one of these bands that, like, I like them, but I don't, like, listen to them all the time or anything. They're not, like, a favorite band.
Well, you can't really listen to them all the time, because you'd fucking lose your mind.
Yeah, they're quite, like, loud and intense. And the hardest thing about listening to Touche Amore is that the vocalist has this very throaty, like, yelled delivery that is, like, constant. Like, he does not mix it up very much.
Yeah.
On their latest album, there's one song where he sings normally, and I honestly didn't believe it was him until we saw him do it live, because he sounds just like the lead singer of The World is a Beautiful Place and I'm No Longer Afraid to Die, which made me wonder, why doesn't he sing more often? But it's usually these very intense, throaty yells. But what's interesting about it is that you can understand everything he's saying,
Yeah.
which is very different from most, like, screaming sort of
Yeah,
bands.
the three acts before him, you couldn't make out anything they were saying.
Yeah. Like, even live, you can understand him, because he's so fucking loud.
I was really impressed.
But,
his ability to articulate was
while
fucking
yelling,
genetically modified.
To swallow mortality is enough of a task.
I give up on fishing.
And
man.
leaving my mark is just too much to ask. He sounds kind of like that. But I don't want to actually do his voice because I'll hurt my throat.
Yeah.
And I did enough of that last night.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they're a post-hardcore band. I don't really know what I'd easily compare them to. Like, Hotelier is obviously pretty similar.
Yeah.
But, like, even then it's not exact. That's probably, like, the closest thing I can think of that's more popular than them. But, yeah, they're a post-hardcore act, and their album from, I think, 2013, which was Is Survived By, was one of my favorite albums of that year. I've got it on vinyl. I found out it was, like, basically from early into my following The Needle Drop and Anthony Fantano, like, that was one of the, like, early albums I got from him when I was first, like, getting into music, like, in a bigger way in 2013. So I'm pretty familiar with that album, but it was never one I could listen to all the way through all the time, because it's so intense. And then they had a new album last year, which I didn't really get around to at the time, but we were listening to it leading up to the show, and it's pretty fucking solid.
Yeah.
Stage 4. It's a much more emotional album. But in any case, they were coming to a local bar called the Bug Jar, which is a pretty cool little, like, I don't know, I guess just a bar, but like it's like a bar with a stage section, and it's very decorated. That is the best way I can describe it.
There's crazy art pieces all over. Like, the walls are all graffiti and have, like, crazy paints and...
Yeah. Like, everywhere you turn, there is something.
The most interesting thing is at the bar, there's a mobile of, like, a giant fucking wasp and then a fly, and it's the dopest fucking shit.
It's basically like a fan, but with hanging from it is these two big bugs. What would you say they're made of? Like... paper mache?
I was gonna say paper mache, but they look like more sturdy than that.
Yeah.
But you can make like a sturdy structure with paper mache.
Yeah, I guess they look like paper mache, like probably like 2 feet long, big ass bugs that are just turning around in circles above the bar, and then like there's just tons and tons of like either like murals on the walls or paintings that are hung up, or like pictures, graffiti everywhere. The men's bathroom is 100% covered in graffiti, all of the walls. Like, there's just shit written everywhere. There's stickers everywhere. Behind the bar, there's like just walls of stickers. Like, it's just extremely detailed, and it's a relatively small bar. There's a pool table, and then like like essentially there's like the bar area and then a stage area, and I would say it's about like probably 150, 200 people fit.
The max occupancy was like
129, but I don't know if that was just for the bar or if it was for the whole
I think
building.
It was probably for the whole building, but we definitely exceeded that.
Yeah, I would say there was probably a good 120 people there.
Easily, yeah.
So, like, yeah, it's pretty filled up for this band. And we of course got there as early as possible, but we'll get to that in a bit. Like, I just wanted to establish where it is, cuz
it's a cool millennial bar.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know if it's that millennial. It's very liberal there, for sure.
Yeah, it was super liberal. There was a lot of like millennial people at the bar, but I think it was just because of who was playing.
It's definitely a rock and roll, punk rock kind of place. Like, the music they're playing, you know, in between songs is all like, you know. Yeah,
you ain't gonna hear no country
at the
that
Bug
bar.
Jar. No, that would never happen. There's like fuck Fox News stickers and shit like everywhere. Where is your Jesus now? It said it in one place. I was like, damn. Like, this is pretty alienating messages to have in a public establishment. Like, there's a certain kind of person who is gonna eat, you know, drink here. So yeah, it's a punk rock bar, and we. Like, in preparation for the show, I was introducing you to Touche Amore. You listened to some, like, post-hardcore and screamo stuff already, so this was definitely in your wheelhouse of
I was
music.
into it.
And so like, before we went to the show, like, I bought the tickets, like, the couple nights before, and then I was checking out the other bands that were coming with them, which are a band called Single Mothers and a band called Gouge Away. And I'd given them both a look. Single Mothers is sort of, if any of you have ever listened to the band Self Defense Family, who I'm very familiar with their album Try Me, and like Single Mothers, a lot of their shit sounds exactly like Self Defense Family. It's like, it's punk rock music, but with the sort of like groovy feel. Yeah. Like, not like super intense or heavy. It's more like chilled out and you know, like straightforward and simplistic, and they've got like a sort of spoken word delivery, like almost like mod music from England. If you've ever heard of Sleaford mods, they're a little bit like that, where it's like a guy just like rambling over the music, you know. But then they have other songs that are like hardcore punk songs. And it's sort of like half and half between them. Then there's Gouge Away, who are a much louder, more abrasive band. They're like, they got a really dark sound.
Yeah.
Like bass heavy, fucking angry, like, hardcore punk. I wouldn't even, they're straight hardcore punk, but like really dark sounding.
How I would describe that.
And they have a female vocalist.
And she's fucking hot.
Yeah.
I was mad into her.
She's got some real guttural fucking screams.
She makes amazing sounds.
Yeah.
Like, I was blown away. I couldn't, like, imagine those sounds coming from her.
Yeah.
And I was just fascinated.
Because she looks so nice.
She's so tiny.
But that's
tiny
hardcore
girl.
punk in general, is that it's always, like, really nice, like, very, like, progressively liberal-minded people who tear fucking ass.
Yeah.
You know? And we'll get into some of that later, because it was really funny at moments.
Yeah.
But anyway, so those are the two bands. I'd kind of given them a look. I was like, all right, I can see showing up early for this show. Because I've been to shows. I'm a big-time concert goer. I don't know about you. Like, how many shows have you been to?
Many, probably like 12.
Okay, that's not bad. That's a respectable
Yeah,
number of shows.
I enjoy going to shows, but like I don't.
What kind of shows have you mostly been to?
Mostly just rock and alt stuff. I've never been to a punk show. I've never been to a rap show. I've been to some pop shows, but...
I've been to probably like over 20, 25 shows, and almost all of them are metal shows. Because like I grew up with heavy metal, and like my mom's big into metal, so like me and Victor and my mom would often go to metal shows. Actually, no, 25 is definitely too low. I'm thinking about that again. It's probably closer to 40. Because like 5 of those are just Mastodon, who are coming here in like a week, but it's $40 tickets, and I don't want to go that badly, especially because I don't really care for their new album. Wish I'd gotten to see them on the tour for their previous album, because that one I liked, but their new one I am not that into.
What are you?
Also, I'm fucking pissed because Death Grips is doing a tour right now, and they're not coming anywhere near us. Like, the closest Death Grips show is in fucking Buffalo, or not Buffalo, that would be close enough.
Yeah.
In fucking, Brooklyn.
Oh,
like,
that is a hike.
They're doing both a New York City and a
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn show. Like, even though I thought Brooklyn was part of New York City.
Brooklyn is a borough in New York City, but New York City's huge.
Yeah, well, they're doing both New York City and Brooklyn, but they're not coming to upstate New York at all.
Nobody comes to upstate.
Fucking Victor and Hope are gonna see them in, like, I think DC or something.
Fucking cool, man.
Mad jealous.
I'm jealous too.
'Cause if anybody doesn't know, Rochester may be in New York, but it's like an 8-hour drive from New York City. So it is not like, I don't know if I want to make that drive, and it's in like a week and a half. So like there's no time for us to prepare for it if we did want to go.
What is this?
But yeah, Death Grips is touring.
Have I had this in my inventory the whole time?
Is that a TV?
Yeah, I have a fucking TV.
Oh, hell yeah. It looks like a stove to me. Oh, you can watch TV. That's interesting.
Alright, I'm going to bed.
Anyway. Yeah, so we're gonna go see this show. I've been to tons and tons of metal shows, tons of like hardcore. I haven't been to any hardcore punk shows, but I've been to like more straight up hardcore bands, like who have like open for some of the metal bands I've seen. Like probably the heaviest shit I've seen live is like Dillinger Escape Plan opening for Mastodon, which was hilarious because the crowd was not into them at all. The Mastodon crowd was totally not into Dillinger Escape Plan.
Yeah.
And the band seemed like total assholes, as they often do. And then I've been to a few black metal shows. Because I've seen Satyricon with 1349, who are pretty fucking loud and intense. And Agaloch I've seen live. All kinds of shit. But primarily metal bands. Or just heavier rock bands. Actually, one of the most intense shows I'd ever been to was Circa Survive and Coheed and Cambria double headlined. And that was a really weirdly intense, like, crowd for the kind of music that it was.
Yeah.
Because neither band is very heavy, but the crowd was, like, going totally apeshit, especially during Circus Survive's set.
Didn't mean to do that.
But,
Okay.
So anyways, we're going to the show, and, like, you've never really been to a show this heavy before,
No,
I think.
no.
So I was, like, telling you, I was, like, basically buttering you up, like, look, this is gonna be really fucking loud, and people are gonna be going crazy. Like, it's gonna be a room full of drunk hipsters going apeshit, which the crowd was exactly what I predicted it would be.
Yeah.
I said it was gonna be, like, college hipsters in skinny jeans.
You did, in fact, say that.
Yeah. I didn't expect it to be as punk rock as it was, like, because Touche Amore I think of as post-hardcore, which I think of as more, like, hipster, like, people who watch music reviews kind of music, you know, like, they're popular with like, you know, people like Anthony Fantano. It's like how I found out about them.
Yeah.
But the crowd for this show was definitely more of, like, straight punk rock crowd, you know, like, these are guys who probably exclusively go to punk shows, and, like, tons of people with, like, big gauges in their ears, like, you know, well-groomed hairstyles and flannel shirts, and or, like, everyone's got, all the guys have beards, you know, like manicured hipster beards, and skinny jeans. Almost all the chicks there were, like pretty hardcore punk chicks.
Yeah.
Like, lots of like punk hairstyles, heavy makeup, lots of, like,
I was really struggling to, like, what the fuck do I wear to this show? Like,
yeah.
I never been to the Bug Jar, so I don't know,
Didn't
but I
know the
knew
atmosphere.
we were gonna go see fucking Touche Amore, so I was like, I'm wearing my hair in space buns, which is a
Yeah.
great choice.
Yeah, so you had
Do
these,
not
you
regret.
had adorable buns in your hair.
Yeah, I was wearing,
and-
like, a crop top with leggings, and my hair was in space buns, and I had, like, a sick choker on.
Yeah, you had a choker, but like a describe what that
It was
is.
like a black choker, but it like came down for another knot, and there was like a bow. So it had like this giant long dangly bow, and then the choker part.
Yeah, I would describe it as more like a bow that happens to
Like a
also be a
ribbon,
choker,
yeah.
more so than a choker that also happens to be a bow.
Yeah.
But it was mad cute, and I would describe your look as a little bit more goth rock, you know,
Yeah.
like closer to the kind of stuff my mom would wear at a show, and I mean that in the best possible way. My mom's got fashion, you know, but she's like super goth.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, most of the there was a lot of really butch chicks there, and some lesbians that we'll get into later. But yeah, so that's the kind of crowd we're talking about for this show.
Yeah.
I don't remember why I jumped into talking about the crowd before even getting to the main thrust of it.
Oh, because I was talking about my outfit. Because you were describing the crowd.
Right, but why was I describing the crowd? Just to, like, I don't know. Well, anyways,
Because you were talking about
we know we're going to a punk show, you know, and well, we were not quite sure what the crowd would be, but I was pretty on point with at least with what the guys were gonna look.
You looked like every guy there. It was like really hard to tell who was my boyfriend because there was a bunch of dark-haired, short guys with shaggy hair.
I was wearing shorts, which, like, my shorts look just like my pajama pants, but wearing like plaid shorts is a lot more normal than wearing plaid pants.
Yeah.
And I was just wearing a black shirt. Was wearing an Ava shirt, so like I looked about as appropriate as I will ever look anywhere.
Yeah.
As opposed to my usual totally out of place look, you know, like most of the guys there looked pretty similar to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, so we're getting ready. We get ready. We're going to this show, and it's deep. You know, the Bug Jar is like deep in the heart of Rochester. It's like right in the downtown, like the big city part of Rochester. And so we were like, well, if we're going to be down there anyways, we might as well eat somewhere nearby. Because, like, out where we live, you've got all the necessities of life, but, like, in the heart of the city, you get a little bit more...
There's a lot more culture.
Eclecticism?
Yeah,
Is that the word?
yeah.
So, like, for instance, a lot more Asian places,
Definitely.
which there's not a lot near us. So, you found that there was a Vietnamese place,
Yeah,
like,
which I didn't
right
even
across the street.
know there was any Vietnamese places, like,
Yeah.
anywhere in Rochester.
And weirdly,
Super excited.
the weird thing about the Asian places in Rochester is that they're mostly fusion places, it seems like.
Yeah.
Because, like, we had wanted to get Thai food one time, and there's a Thai place that's, like, in Rochester, but not in the downtown, that we'd gone to when the first week that I came up to visit.
Yeah, the King and we got terrible service, and
Yeah.
the food smelled.
The food was a little weird, and the service was really bad, so we decided not, and it was expensive, so we decided
Yeah.
not to go back there.
The service was fucking garbage. We waited so long for
Yeah.
our food, and, like, I made eye contact with the waitress, like, a bunch of times, and she just, like,
It wasn't just the food, it was like waiting for our fucking check for
Yeah.
like an hour.
it was fucking ridiculous.
And there was, like, tons of people
There were
there.
people who, like, got in and got out,
Right.
like, within the time we were there, just waiting for the check.
Yeah. And then,
Like, somebody had, like, Scott sat down, ate their food, and paid in the time it took us to get our fucking check.
yeah. So, like, then, so we went to, like, when we were looking for another Thai place, we found one that was called, like, Asian Fusion. And it's, like, a Thai place, but they also have some, like, Chinese food and some
Yeah.
other stuff, which also had terrible service. Because it also took an eternity to get our check there. But, like, then we went to this...
But at least I didn't feel like they were avoiding us.
Yeah. Then we went to this Vietnamese place, and it was, like, first of all, it looks like a Chinese restaurant. Second of all, you open the menu and it's a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
And then you go a couple more pages in and it's like, was it Thai or what was the other? There was 3 Asian countries.
There was Thai, Chinese, and Vietnamese.
Yeah, so you flip through the Chinese, and you get to the Thai section, then you get to the Vietnamese section, which we were there mostly to get pho, or pho, as I know it's supposed to be pronounced, but it's harder to say pho in a conversation, so pho. So we're going to get pho, and yeah, it's literally right across the street from the bar. So we walk into this restaurant, and the very first thing we see is 4 guys at a table. And immediately in my head, and I'm sure yours as well, we're both thinking that's one of the bands.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, no question. We're in a restaurant right across from the place. It's 4 guys eating together, all who have, like, well-groomed beards. Like, they all look, like, kind of handsome. Like,
yeah, they look like band guys.
they look like 4 guys in a fucking rock band.
They were way too stylish to just be guys out and about.
But, like, they weren't so stylish that they, like, totally stood out, but, like, just the thought of seeing 4, like, guys who look like they're in their early 30s all at a restaurant together, it's like, that would not happen. There is no circumstance where these 4 guys would be eating together, you know, unless they were in a band. But we don't know which band. We're like, this is probably one of the bands. And I'm thinking, well, it can't be Gouge Away because they've got a female vocalist.
There's no girls.
And but I don't know what Touche Amore looks like.
Yeah.
So it's got to be either Touche Amore or Single Mothers, but I don't know who. So we go and sit down, and, like, we're the only people in this place. It's the band and us.
And there's some Asian guy.
Yeah, and, like, one
alone.
Asian dude who clearly was not involved in the concert at all. But we clearly are involved in the concert. And when we walk in, these guys kind of glance over, like, that uh-oh glance that I know all too well, which is the, oh shit, I hope I'm not about to get recognized while I'm eating.
Yeah.
You know, kind of glance. Like not that it would be a huge deal, but there's a nervousness. Like, oh shit, are these guys gonna be like, are they gonna ask us something, you know?
Yeah.
Like, no? Alright. So, and, like, I could tell there was, like, some exchange of glances between us, but, like, they're all just having a conversation low down to themselves, you know, and we are too, and we're a little far away, you know, we can't, like, overhear them or anything, but, you know, we eat our food, and they've finished, they're leaving, and we hear one of them say, like, this show's gonna be weird, you know, which I don't know if that had anything to do with us. Like, because they could probably hear us speculating that they were one of the bands.
Yeah,
like, we were sitting there going, that's gotta
definitely.
be one of the bands, right? Like, that is obviously one of the bands, but we don't know which, you know? So anyways, so we're totally convinced. But then we go to the show, we experience the the very densely intricate bar, which is fascinating to look at. Start ordering some drinks, you know. And we're loosening up. It's a good time. It's a good bar. I will say this though about the bar is that, and I never, like, this is new for me, but the intense liberalism made me slightly uncomfortable.
Me too, but I hit it pretty well.
Like, it was just that feeling of, because I grew up around this. Like, this is normal for me to see this, but I haven't seen it in a little while, and I feel like I've got some distance between me and liberalism, you know? Because, like, growing up, my mom has those kinds of stickers. My mom has fuck Fox News stickers and all that kind of shit, but I know my mom, and, like, I'm not a Fox News fan, so, like, I'm obviously, you know, don't care if they're saying, I'm like, yeah, I also agree, fuck Fox News, fuck God, fuck all that. But the reason it made me uncomfortable was that I felt this was a place that if you made a Trump joke, you would get, people would be mad at you, you know? Like this is a place where you could not even joke about conservatism. Yeah. Like, this is a place where if you walked in with a Trump hat on, you would get fucking stone cold, like, attacked, you know? So, like, it was just slightly uncomfortable because I kept thinking, like, man, you know, if I made, like, an off-color joke here, I would not be welcome.
You can't come back.
Yeah. So anyways, you know, things are buttering up. There's a band going on, shockingly on time. Like, it's 8:30 and the first band is going up. And that's because it's actually a local band. Like, they had 4 bands at this show because there was a local group opening called Coming Down. And, like,
I feel like they probably play there every week.
They've probably played there more than once.
Yeah.
But, like, the lead singer has a shirt, like, the lead singer's shirt, at first we only saw the back of it, and it said, to these, like, misogynistic, or to all this misogynistic, what's the word for not liking gay people? Homophobic, racist, climate-denying bullshit, which I was like, okay, I don't know if climate denying is as severe a crime as racist, homophobic. I mean, some people might say so. Maybe it is just as much of a crime. I don't know. I don't have the stats on climate change, but I felt like it was a bit of a leap to include it with all the other stuff. But then when we saw the front of the shirt, it just says "Big No," and I thought that was awesome.
Yeah,
like, I was expecting it to say "fuck you," but it just says "Big No." In, like,
that's
calligraphic.
How straight edge this guy is.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely a straight edge hardcore punk band. So yeah, band one.
I didn't know that was, like, a thing with hardcore punk, was that a lot of them are straight edge.
Yeah.
I had no idea, and it makes complete sense now. My eyes were opened.
Yeah, it was, I think it started in, like, the late 80s or early 90s that, like, there were just a lot of bands that had, like, a straight edge message, like, they don't drink or smoke or do any of that shit because, like, you know, as the lead singer of Gouge Away would later explain, like, especially for the younger people who are straight edge, and in the early days it was very elitist, you know.
Yeah.
But, like, so Coming Down goes on, and they're obviously not the band we recognized.
No.
But they're pretty all right for a local band. They were not bad. Like,
they're pretty fun.
I would describe their sound. What was interesting about it is that they play like a sort of, like, the guitars are very, like, classic rock, classic punk. Like, think, you know, what's the band with Johnny Rotten? Anarchy in the UK, the Sex Pistols.
I think so.
Like, their guitar sound is, like, old school, like, high, like, that kind of high pitched, jangly, like, fun sound, but the vocals are like harsh screams. So you've got, like, this kind of upbeat punk music. I mean, it's heavy, but it's, like, very upbeat. But the vocals are like, I don't know. Oh God, I can't. should not try to scream. Oh, that was really painful. So yeah, they were pretty entertaining. The guy had this move where he punches the air a lot.
He was showing his tummy too. It was like
Dude, there's like one of the later songs, he starts like grabbing his shirt like and holding it up to the mic, and he's got this like huge wicked looking stomach tattoo.
Yeah.
And it's painfully obvious that he's making it look like he's like, yeah, I'm so out of control, I gotta grab my shirt. But it's like, dude, you're showing off your stomach tat.
Yeah.
Like, we can all tell, you know?
Yeah.
There is no fucking denying that. And the drummer was pretty great. But like, yeah, they were complete. If you had told me that they were not just a local band, I would have believed it, you know? But I will say all their songs kind of bled together. They did not have much variety in their sound.
Was there a mosh pit for that song?
No. For that band, no. I mean, because there never is for the first. Like, you got to get warmed up.
I didn't think there was.
People got to drink a little more, you know. But like, people were bobbing their heads, which I've been to a hell of a lot of shows, and you know you're at a good show if people are actually excited for the openers. Because I've been to some shows where people give no love to the opening acts. Like even if they're relatively popular bands, like you'll see one of their fans in the crowd who's like someone who's there just for them, you know? And then like everyone else who's at the front of the stage is just waiting for the headliner, and they're like reserving their spot at the front of the stage, you know? Like that's the only reason they're there. And, yeah, like, so people were, like, obviously no one there really knew who they were, but people were giving them the head bobs, you know, and I was like, yeah, alright, this crowd's fucking okay. I've been to a lot of shows where I'm outright angry at the crowd. Like, I have been pissed with crowds many times before where a band is putting on a performance that deserves to have some energy in the crowd, and the crowd's not giving them anything. And I'm like, what the fuck, guys? You know, like, I know you don't listen to this band, but they're doing a good job, so come the fuck on. And we will get into a little bit of that later, but, like, not too severely. But, like, you know, these guys are alright. And, at one point, they, like, stop. And, like, because the singer is doing, like, a lot of chatter in between songs and stuff. Like, more than he probably needs to as an opening local band. But he's giving his chatter. And, like, I could tell that the other band members were kind of trying to hurry him through it every time.
Yeah.
Like, I had this impression, like, this dude does this, and they can't control it, and they kind of will try to, like, play him off, you know? Like, they'll try to interrupt him and stuff like
got
that.
Feeling.
It was a very strong vibe of them, like, rolling their eyes when he would start rambling. But at one point, he starts going into this whole thing about how the songs they're writing right now are all about, like, addiction, and how, like, his family and, like, friends have had, like, addiction problems, and how, like, you know, he's always been straight edge, but he's trying to be there for them. But, like, he's far less succinct than I just was saying that off the cuff, because this guy's clearly not a trained speaker. So he's just kind of, like, rambling for a couple minutes, like, almost autistically, like, trying to explain his point. But it was really funny because he like finishes his point. He's like, and you know, it's really important to be there for people. And then they just rip into, like, the heaviest fucking song they've got. And I was just like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, I really love that when it's, like, this really sincere, like, earnest, like, guys, we gotta, you know, you gotta be there for your loved ones. And I was like, holy shit. So I had a great time.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking cool.
So they played for probably, like, close to 20 minutes, and we've theorized, because they were being very thankful to the band Gouge Away, who was the would-be opener, and we could only kind of understand what the fuck the guy was saying when he would ramble, because, you know, it's not really mic'd for clear talking, and also there's 100 people in the venue, and the band is still playing and, like, testing their instruments while he's talking and shit. But generally what I think he was trying to say is that Gouge Away had, like, I think they had cut their set time for them. Because Gouge Away played for, like, 15 minutes.
They were definitely the shortest.
They had barely a set, and I think it's because they were, like, you know, trying to help local bands and, like, it'd give them a spot. So So they were all right. So then Gouge Away is up next. And in between each band, we keep, like, we have to piss constantly. And, like, and I'm, like, stepping out for a smoke and stuff. But, like, the switching was really fast.
It was.
Like, I've been to a lot of shows where it takes a fucking half hour between the acts. Here it was like 10 minutes, and they, like, the time it took for us to, like, have another beer and have a smoke.
It was perfect. We could, like, do our thing, and then the next show would start.
It was really, really fucking tightly put together. Bug Jar, y'all run a tight ship.
Yeah.
So yeah, then it was Gouge Away, and, like, they were immediately, like, fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, their sound was just, like,
this
tearing
first song
through.
they play, they fucking start moshing, and I was not expecting it.
Song number 1 is an intense mosh pit.
Somebody fucking flings into me, and then I'm like, oh, I gotta get the fuck out.
That's right, because we were up towards the front for that, weren't we? Yeah. So we'd gotten up, like, well, because there was already a mosh pit on the first song, which was before we got up front, and then we moved up front, and then, like, the moshing started, and you got blown all the way out of the crowd, and I'm in there, and I'm like, oh, fuck, yeah, because this is why I came to this show. I wanted to mosh. I wanted to mosh because it's fun, and I like it, and also because I was really frustrated because of, you know...
Just a lot of things.
The previous day being an entire day worth of arguing with my friends about whether or not one of my friends is getting kicked out of our group of friends. So, you know, I'd had a long day, let's put it that way, and I wanted to fucking work it off with some mosh pit. So yeah, the crowd's going fucking apeshit for Gouge Away, and there's a surprising number of people who seem to know the lyrics and shit. Now, here's the funny thing. More people seem to know Gouge Away than Single Mothers, and the way that, like, with tours like this, I think there's a lot of seniority goes into, like, who is the headliner band.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like, Touche Amore is obviously by far the biggest band at this show. I'd never even heard of these other two bands. But I kind of got the sense that Gouge Away might actually be more popular than Single Mothers.
I definitely got that sense.
Yeah.
Like, the reception to Single Mothers was, like...
not nearly as good as Gouge Away. And, like... You know, they've probably, because they definitely have more albums that have been around for longer. So, like, I think they might be like, they've been around for a little bit more time and are more established, so they were higher up on the billing. But, like, definitely seemed like the crowd knew who Gouge Away was a lot more. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, rightfully so, because they have a really unique sound that's really great. Whereas Single Mothers, like, they're not bad, but I can name other bands who sound exactly like them, you know?
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I thought, like, they did have a unique voice, but it just wasn't, like, as cool.
I mean, Self-Defense Family sounds exactly like them, and they have a way more unique singer, you know? Like,
I don't know shit about this genre, so.
Yeah, I definitely know other bands who sound exactly
I'll take
like
your word for it.
all their songs.
I'll take your word.
Whereas Gouge Away... I mean, Gouge Away is not, like, super unique or anything. It's just the bassiness and heaviness of their sound is definitely, like, a little bit more distinctive. Like... They've got, like, an almost, like, metal sound to their production and performances. But yeah, Gouge Away was fucking sick, and there was mosh pits immediately, and I was really shocked to see mosh pits on the fucking third card band, you know? And then after their show, the lead singer woman was just, like, selling her own merch. You know, she was selling the merch over at the merch table. So I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm gonna buy something. Like, because this band seems really cool. I can honestly see listening to them. Mm-hmm. And so I was like...
That's what I did today. I was fucking driving to school listening to fucking Gouge Away.
Yeah.
It was fucking awesome.
So, and I'm thinking of it, like, because when you go to see a local show, like... Well, this isn't a local show, but, like, it's a very small show. Yeah. You know, it's a small bar, like, it's...
Oh, it's the Devou. Oh.
It's a small bar, and these are relatively small bands who are doing their own audio setup and their own merch tables. So you know the merch is going to be really cheap, and, like, you know... You're going to have a piece of history with you.
Yeah.
Like, I was in when they were still selling their own merch. If they ever blew up, which is debatable, you know. But, like, it's just nice to support like smaller acts like that, you know,
Definitely.
who every t-shirt sold, every album sold is gonna mean something to them, you know. Like when you go to like a show where you paid like $25-$30, maybe even $40 to get in, and there's fucking 5,000 people in the venue and they're selling t-shirts for $30, they don't need that $30. Like, they made the money on album sales and fucking and the sales of tickets, you know.
Yeah.
Like, they are already doing really well monetarily. Not to say that you shouldn't support them anyways, because they're giving you a product you want, you know, but like, when you're supporting a band who has, like, this is how they pay rent, is, like, this, your ticket sale and the t-shirt you buy, like, it just feels even more significant. Like, I really should help these guys out, you know? So, so I go up there, like, intending to, because they had, like, a vinyl record and, like, some t-shirts. I thought it was a vinyl that I was purchasing, but it turned out to be a shirt, which was even more exciting.
Yeah, it has a fucking sick design.
Yeah, because their other shirt was just kind of like, I would always take a shirt over a vinyl just because I'm going to wear the shirt all the time.
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to have it in videos more easily.
Uh-huh.
The most disappointing thing about vinyl is that the reason to buy it is that it's beautiful and you can look at it. However, there's no way to store it that it faces outward.
Yeah.
Like, unless you can find a way to hang it on your walls, there's no way to, like, display your beautiful vinyl collection. So, but I was going to buy one anyways. But then once I realized it was a shirt, I was like, oh, hell yeah, I want that shirt. Because the design's really cool. I'm wearing it right now. It's got this...
It looks fucking...
It's got this
sick.
mantra that says... can you read this?
It says, weeds are just plants out of place with no need to invade if embraced.
Yes.
It says it like 8 times.
That's a lesson that can be learned by this game.
Yeah.
Like, why do we have to cut all the weeds down? They're just plants out of place.
We gotta embrace them.
We gotta embrace the
if
weeds.
we hug them, they can't spread. It's like genital warts.
It sounded so adorable the way you said that. It sounded so sincere. So yeah, I got one of their t-shirts from the singer. That was cool. And a sticker. And then at some point in between two of the bands, I don't remember which time it was, I went to the bathroom, and what happened to you?
Oh, so I was just sitting there, looking all cute and stuff, and then this chick, like, walks into the bar area, and we make eye contact.
Uh-huh.
And she just, like, comes over, and I know that look, because I'm a girl. And she comes over and she sits next to me and she's like, is the seat taken? And I'm like, not right now. And then she like sits down and she's like, I'm like, oh, hey, what's your name? And she's like, I'm Genesis. I'm like, oh, I'm Amanda. And
Her name
I'm
was
like,
Genesis?
yeah, her name's Genesis. And then she's
Such an
like, did you
unfortunate
come
name
here?
for a punk
Did you
rocker.
come here alone? And I'm like, no. My boyfriend's right there.
Yeah, I was walking out of the bathroom like right as
Yeah.
she asked this, I guess.
And then she fucked off as soon as you like showed
Yeah,
up.
as soon as she saw me walking up, she like scooted down the bench and like
and
like
didn't say a
offered.
word to me
she
the
she
whole
like
entire
patted the
night.
bench like, "Yo, come over and sit
Yeah.
next to your girlfriend." And like, I immediately recognizing what had just happened was like, "So you want to go outside and have a smoke? You know, like let's get the fuck out of here
Yeah.
because this is awkward now." But like.
We could have had a natural threesome.
Uh,
I'm joking.
She was fat.
She wasn't like, she was chubby, I'd say.
She was fat. She was definitely over 200 pounds.
You think so?
Easily.
She was short though. I'd say short.
She was
yeah,
probably
maybe.
200 pounds. Like exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
I'm not a good judge of weight.
too much for me. I am a great judge of weight.
I always think people weigh more than they do or less than they do.
But yeah, she was, you know, I mean she was not ugly. She was wearing a shitload of makeup and like, you know, had the punk rock look going on,
Yeah.
but like
She looked like everybody else at the fucking concert.
yeah, but she was definitely there to like hopefully pick. Like you were by far the cutest girl at this show, by the way. This needs clarification. Like there was not a lot of good-looking girls there, and amongst the ones that were there, you were by far the most good-looking. So like that girl was definitely had her fucking eye on you from like an earlier point in the night. Like
Yeah.
she was probably there hoping to get like pick up a girl, and like you are obviously the cutest girl, and you looked like you could be like a lesbian.
Yeah, especially with my hair.
Yeah, with you got like your little space buns and everything. Like,
Yeah.
so she definitely was hoping you were a gay girl, because you would have been like by far the best catch that a lesbian could have got at that show.
It means so much, baby.
And I mean, this is the we were talking about this today, that some guy hit on you at school today, and you just basically, even though you told him you had a boyfriend, you also gave him your Instagram, and he messaged you on Instagram later. And I was like, see, the mistake you made here was you should have just said, I have a boyfriend and nothing else.
So my main problem is that when I talk to people, I am more confident when I'm flirty. Like,
Right.
I am a flirtatious person, and it's not because I want to sleep with that person or I'm interested. Right. It's just, like, that's how I communicate best. I like, because when I feel like I'm flirting with somebody, I feel like I'm in control of the situation. And I'm more confident, and the other person is, like, has to follow my lead, basically.
Right.
And I'm into that. So I am kind of flirty. So this guy comes out, like, I'm just looking around, I have my phone out, and I make eye contact with this guy, because, like, I'm always looking at the people around me. Something I shouldn't do, but that's just what I've been doing since I was, like, a kid. So I make eye contact with this black kid, and, like, I look away because I noticed he also, like looked at me, and I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. I gotta just bury my head in my phone and walk away. And he's like, hey, shorty. And then I kind of, like, I look up, and I kind of, like, start walking away. He's like, come over here. And I'm like, fine.
I can't believe he called you shorty.
Fine. I come over. Yeah. If somebody calls me shorty, I'm probably going to stick around and see what they have to say. Because that's you got some balls.
Yeah. I'm just, I didn't know people still said shorty.
Me neither. So he's like, hey, shorty. So I come over, and he's like, you got an Instagram? And I'm like, oh, yeah. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I care a lot about followers. Like, I'm into that. Yeah. So I was just like, yeah, you have my fucking Instagram? Yeah. I have a boyfriend, and I'm internet famous, but you can have my Instagram. So we follow each other, and then a couple hours later, he's like, what's poppin' beautiful or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, didn't he get it? Like,
no, you didn't. You in no way, to me in that exchange, you in no way communicated, I am not interested at all. You communicated, I have a boyfriend, but you also gave him your Instagram.
I was interested in him following me on Instagram.
It's mixed signals.
I know.
Because the only reason that he can imagine that you would give him your Instagram is that you're hoping to cheat on said boyfriend. Like, that's all that's going through his mind. And the reason I bring this up is because in the case of Genesis, when she said, is this seat taken? The answer should have just been yes. My boyfriend is sitting here.
Yep.
Because I'd literally just gotten up from that seat. So the seat is taken. Like, that's the only context where the answer is actually yes, the seat's taken. Yeah. But because you said no, she took that as flirtation. And then
the thing was, I wasn't even, like, trying to be, I just, like, I like talking to people, especially girls, and, like, if
I know.
And she tricked me, because I thought she just wanted to talk, or she was alone, and, like...
Yeah.
Because, like, I know girls will do that. They're like, oh, I feel creeped out, or I feel alone, so, hey, can I hang out with you?
That woman looked gay as fuck, though.
You're right. But it was dark. I couldn't tell,
lesbian.
and I was a little tipsy.
Yeah, you were a little drunk. But, like, yeah. So, anyway, that happened at some point. So then we're gearing up for the third band to go on, Single Mothers.
Which we saw at
May's in the bathroom, and I see them go up, and I'm like, motherfucker, it's them.
It's them. It had to be them.
It is literally the entire band.
Yeah, they were all at that fucking restaurant.
Yep.
The drummer was such a fucking, like, he was the faux guy. He, like, I heard, he was the loudest member. Like, he was such a drummer. Yeah, when we were eating, like, I could tell, like, he was a drummer.
I didn't hear anything they said. Like,
they were talking about their food and stuff, and he just seemed like a drummer.
Yeah, he was wearing, like, a Hawaiian shirt, which he immediately
so...
took off at the start of the show.
Why the fuck was he wearing a Hawaiian shirt? Like, it was awesome.
Yeah.
That was the most punk rock thing there.
Well, that's the funny thing about, they had a very interesting sort of, like, they seemed like older guys. Like, they all looked like they were definitely in their 30s. Which, by the way, the lead singer of Coming Down, the opening act, looked like he could be 28 and then said he was almost 40 towards the end of his set. which was pretty funny. Is this like a cutscene?
I guess so.
Like, did you do something important?
It just, I think it's because it's a certain day, and I walked over here, and now they're like, oh, I'm gonna give us some backstory on the town. There's a abandoned fucking town center.
I think he's trying to get you to like clean up this place.
Yeah,
so they
exactly. I don't need to even read the dialogue to know what's going on. Yeah. He doesn't want me to buy a membership to Walmart, basically.
I see. So is this basically like a game about trying to save the small town from a big corporation or something?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. Single Mothers goes up. It's the Foe guys. We're totally excited. And like, I would say what's interesting about the band is that they all have like a very different look. Like, the lead singer guy's in like button up long sleeve black shirt with jeans, and then the drummer's the Hawaiian shirt guy, and there's another dude, I don't even remember what the guitarist looked like. He was just another bearded guy.
They all look the fucking same.
And then there was like body wise, 3 of them look the same but have very different aesthetics. But then there's the 4th guy who looks he's one of those guys who's probably like 30 something but has the face of a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Like he has a child's face, and he looks like he would be like a member of Weezer or something. Like he's very baby faced, and like he was wearing glasses and a hat, but then once he took the hat off, he like let his hair get all frizzy and stuff, and was like, okay, now you're looking like a rock and roll member, you know, but like, but otherwise looks like a nerdy kid, you know. And but yeah, they were an interesting look, and like I could tell they were kind of like, I don't know. They were kind of like, we don't know what this crowd is, and like tired, like somewhat tired, you know. But they go on, and they're playing their songs, which again, like the first couple songs they played are from what I think is their newest album. Like I'm pretty sure the first song they played was the first song in the new album that I'd heard, the one that sounds exactly like Self Defense Family. And so they play a song like that, but then their next song is more of like a hardcore punk song, and it's like kind of a heavy like thrasher, and I'm like, there should be a mosh pit for this. Like, why is there not a mosh pit? Like, we got a mosh pit for Gouge Away. Where's the mosh pit for this song? I want to go crazy to this, right? So apparently the lead singer was thinking the same thing, because they start up their 3rd song, and the singer jumps down into the crowd and starts a mosh pit while he's singing.
Yeah.
So I immediately go running in. I'm like, hell the fuck yeah. So I go running in, and I target the singer. I'm like, oh, dude, we're getting in, right? And the weird thing about it is that a lot of the crowd didn't seem like they really wanted it to be happening.
Yeah.
Like, they were doing it, you know, they were moshing with him and stuff, and like, it was fun, but like, I got this sense like people were like, oh, here we go, you know, like everyone was very reticent to the idea of moshing for this band for some reason. But the singer was in there for like a whole song, and it was awesome. So I'm moshing with him. He gets back on stage, and then they play like a calmer song, so I go back to where May is, you know, because we're spending a lot of, like, anytime there's not a heavy song, we're just kind of flirting in the back.
Yeah.
And then I run back in if I see a mosh pit. So at some point, they start playing some heavy songs again, and I'm like, I'm going to go start the mosh pit, because I'm getting mad that there's not one. And I go in there, and I'm literally trying to start it. Like, I don't want to be too, like, I don't want to, like, just ram into somebody, like, because then I'm just going to look like a fucking drunken asshole. But, like, I keep, like, you know, I'm getting in there. I'm next to a couple, like, big guys who are kind of, like, jumping, like, they're into the show. And I'm, like, trying to nudge them. I'm, like, hitting my shoulders against them. I'm, like, pushing my chest into guys. Like, hey, guys, come on. You guys, come on. What's going on? Hey! You know, nobody's biting. So I'm just like, whatever. So I back off. And, I mean, the thing is that their set was just, it was so inconsistent where, like, some songs would be heavy and then some wouldn't, and it's like, well, what atmosphere are we supposed to be going for here, guys? You guys got too many different sounds. They played one song that they were like, oh, we got a video for this song out, and that song sounded like shit.
Yeah.
That was like obviously their pop hit song. Like, it sounded like a Green Day song or something. Like, okay, guys, did you sell out? Is that what's going on here? Is that why there's a video for this song? But yeah. So they go on and off. And then finally, it's Touche Amore. And instantly, and for the entirety of their set, the entire floor is a mosh pit.
Yeah.
Like, everything within 20 feet of the stage is a mosh pit for the entire, like, 35-40 minute set. It was fucking insane.
It was crazy.
There was crowd surfing.
I was not expecting that at all.
Like, probably 5 or 6 instances of crowd surfing.
Yeah,
One time there was 2 at once.
ridiculous.
People are just shoving up into the stage. People are going fucking ballistic. And totally understandably, because they sound heavy as fuck. Like, this has been a punk show all the way through, right? You know, coming down, they're playing some pretty energetic, heavy songs. Gouge Away was playing some heavy shit, but Touche Amore was, like, crushingly heavy.
Yeah.
Like, their drums were louder than God. Like, they were just pummeling drums, and the singer is, like, somehow audible over everything, you know, with his insane screams. And, like, and the funny thing about it is that, again, they're a post-hardcore band. And, like, I wasn't sure... Like, when we were listening to them on the way to the show, I was like, this is gonna sound really crazy loud. But I was imagining it sounding more like that transcendent post-rock sound. Because, like, if you see a post-rock band live, it's all about the glistening guitars that are, like, they, like, open up your soul and you feel like you're traveling the cosmos. No, it was the opposite. The glistening guitars were in the background. The forefront was the insane, pummeling, blast beat drums and the fucking screaming vocals.
Yeah.
Like, it sounded intense, and people were going fucking ballistic for this band, and it was awesome. Like, they were just tearing through their songs and shit. And then the band themselves, like, the singer was definitely the main focus, and he had one of those unforgettable faces, like a one-of-a-kind creature. I would describe his face as very open. He was like shaved head, because, like, you could tell he was, like, you know, he's balding, so he's just shaving his head. But he's got very big features, and he's always got a smile on his face.
Yeah,
and
he does.
He's got, like, a sort of, like, a dancey, like he's sort of, it's weird because his attitude towards the music is almost that he's, like, softly singing and dancing. But what he is performing is, like, these insanely gutter, like, you know, like...
Yeah.
Like that, but he's got, like, a smile on his face, and he's, like, grooving into the music and stuff. And when he talks, it's like, yeah, fucking, you know, we just fucking came to this fucking show, and it's a pretty fucking good time, you know? But, like, when he's vocalizing, he just looks like he's blissed out or something. He looks so happy. And, like, singing these really emotional songs about, like, death and in his family and stuff like that. He's got this very open, clear face. If any of our audience knows of Anthony Green, the lead singer of Circus Survive / The Sound of Animals Fighting, I would describe his stage presence as very similar, though less, like, intense, because Anthony Green feels a little bit more egotistical. He reminds me of myself when he performs. Like, there's a lot of, like, I'm a badass kind of feel.
Yeah.
Whereas Touche Amore guy was just kind of like, I'm living in the moment, man. You know, like that kind of feel. Like, almost spiritual, the way he looked. But he's, but also while totally, you know, being into the crazy mosh pit that's happening and, like, clearly fully approving of it. Like, this is exactly what he hopes the crowd's doing, you know? And, awesome. Yeah, this crowd was going absolutely fucking ballistic, and it was awesome. It was probably the most intense show I've ever been to. And I've been to small shows, too. Like, it's not just because, like, definitely smaller shows are more intense because there's not security guards. Whereas if you go to, like, a really big stadium show, there's going to be security, like, breaking up the mosh pits and stuff. But, like, I've been to bar shows of heavy metal bands, and I've never seen one this fucking, this crazy, like, for the whole thing.
It was pretty insane.
Usually you'll get, like, mosh pits on the first couple songs, you'll get them on, like, the fan favorite heavy songs, and on, like, the last song, you know? Like, if you go to a Mastodon show, you'll probably have, like, 6 or 7 mosh pits in a 15 to 20 song set, you know? This band was a non-stop. Like, the only reason I didn't stay in the mosh pit was because I literally thought I was gonna die. Like, I was in there for the first 3 tracks, and then I was like, I'm not drunk enough for this. Like, I was already, like, so battered and bruised after that that I just kind of fell back to go hang out with May. And then, I got back in for, like, my favorite songs, you know? Like, they played Praise/Love, which is my favorite song by them. And as soon as I heard it starting up, I was like, I have to go. You know? I got the fuck in there. So then, during that song, though, and I didn't realize it for another 5 minutes, totally lost my cell phone.
His phony.
And so I'm standing there like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
My phone is not in my pocket. And I don't know how I didn't learn my lesson, because I had dropped the Gouge Away t-shirt during the previous band.
Yeah.
And we'd gone back to the car, and I'd put the shirt in the car. So, somehow that didn't make me think, oh, let me empty my pockets since I'm planning to mosh, and I wear shorts that my phone falls out of my pocket just when I sit down. So maybe not the best idea. So my phone...
You should have given me your phone to put in my shoe.
Yeah, that would have made the most sense.
I have like these knee-high boots that have pockets inside the boots. And
there's actual pockets in there? I just thought you were slipping them in your boots.
Put my phone in there, and it's fucking amazing. They're the best invention ever.
They're really cool.
Yeah, and they look fucking cute as fuck, so.
Yeah. But, so I didn't pass you my phone like a smart person. Instead, I dropped it on the floor of a mosh pit. And we're standing back there looking at it, and, like, the way this crowd is moving, if my phone is on the floor, it's dead. Like... You can feel the earth shaking from the amount of fucking, like, jumping going on in this room. And they have, like, literal crowd surfing people everywhere. And we're just like, oh, boy. So, first I'm like, all right, give me your phone. I'm going to use the flashlight. So, I open up the phone. I turn on the flashlight. And basically, I go into the pit. And what I'm doing is, like, I'm just, like, jumping around and thrashing. And then flashing the light really quick around. And, like, people are noticing, of course. Like, what the fuck is happening? And I'm, like, looking, like yeah. Flip, flip, flip. Yeah. Flip, 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 flip. Like, where the fuck is this thing? And I'm not seeing it anywhere. And, like, someone's asking me, like, hey, what are you looking for? And I'm like, a phone. He's like, aren't you holding a phone? And I'm like... Yes, you fucking idiot. Like, I'm looking for another phone. So I back away. I don't find it. And then I'm like, why don't you call the phone and I'll go back in there and see if I see it, you know, ringing on the floor. We try that. I don't see it. But I will, I'm telling you, like, as much as I was freaking the fuck out on some level, I was also having a great time playing, like, Secret Agent Investigator in the middle of a mosh pit. And, like, they've already played all the songs I really know.
Yeah.
So, like, at this point, I'm like, kind of checked out of the show. I just want to find my phone. So, like, yeah, I'm trying to find it. I can't find it. And, finally, after the show's over, I'm immediately like, hey, has anybody seen a phone? And someone's like, they'd put one on stage. Like, someone put a phone on the stage. Mm-hmm. But I go to look, and there's no phone up there. And then May called the phone, and someone said, hey, who's missing a phone? Amanda's calling you. And I was like, oh, thank God, you know. Oh, man. So, yeah, found the phone. And it's only a little bit dinged up. Like, the back part of it is definitely scraped up.
Yeah, it's a little fucked up, but it could be much...
It's not broken. The screen's not damaged.
Yeah.
So, Google Pixel, durability test. Can you lose it in a mosh pit and recover it without damage to the screen? Yes. I don't know if it got stepped on by anybody, but if it did, held up well. I think I've lost a phone in a mosh pit before to similar results. So, you know... But yeah, it definitely got a little banged up.
A little fucky.
Yeah, and then we went home and our ears were ringing all night and
all day.
It sounded like we were listening, like living near the ocean.
Yeah, my tinnitus was pretty bad today.
Yeah, you already have tinnitus.
I had tinnitus since I was little. Like, I remember having it when I was like 5 or 6, which is apparently really rare.
Yeah. Usually you get it from loud noise.
I don't know if it's from loud noises because I've, like, my whole entire life I've been, like, to race car shows and shit. But
yeah. So your dad's a big
IndyCar
fan.
Yeah, we've talked about this in the show. My dad.
Have we?
Yeah, we talked about how my dad was a
how he got death threats for his IndyCar blogging.
How you're fucking,
Why are you so dedicated to fishing? Because it's really frustrating to watch.
I want to do it because I haven't been able to do it since the first time.
You haven't caught a single one since the first?
It's really hard.
Can I try it?
Ungodly hard. Yeah, go ahead.
You just tap the circle, right?
Yeah. No, square.
Square?
Square.
And
you have to wait till the fish bites.
Oi.
There's no instructions. You are assumed to know how to fish, I guess.
I mean, it gave instructions on the tutorial.
On the first, no, not really. It just said what button to hit. Not how to hit it or anything. What are you doing? Are you holding the button?
No, I'm not touching anything.
If you catch this fish on the first try, I'm gonna fucking have a bitch fit. Anyways, I've had tinnitus since I was little, and I'm not sure if it's because, like, race cars have fucked up my ears, or if it's really, just because...
I don't think tapping it works. I think you gotta hold it or not hold it. But, like, it's really difficult.
Yeah. There is probably a trick to it, I just haven't discovered it yet.
It's because the way it moves is, like, there's, like, momentum to the slider. Like... It has to, like, pick up and slow down. It's not like an immediate tap X and it goes up this much kind of thing, you know?
There's definitely really places where the fishes are a little bit easier to fish because there's some that move constantly. Fuck, I don't want the seaweed.
I'm just saying, this video series is going to be a lot of just watching you fail at fishing.
I've been farming, and there's been fucking cutscenes.
That's true. Anyway, is that it for the concert story?
Yeah.
You have anything to add that
about the concert?
Didn't touch on?
I wish that I was, like, not wearing a shirt that would fall down, or else I'd be in the mosh pit with you.
Yeah.
Because that looked really fun, but I was too terrified.
We'll have opportunities.
Yeah. I wasn't prepared.
I don't think that should have been your first.
That was definitely for experience.
That was one of the most intense. Now, granted, the biggest advantage of this mosh pit was that it's a hardcore punk show. So most of the guys in there were not super jacked. Mm-hmm. Like, the reason, because it took me a long time to start going into mosh pits because I go to metal shows and there's always, like, a bunch of fucking jacked dudes in there. Like, it's always... We're talking, like, bear mode guys. It's always, like, a bunch of dudes who are, like, clearly spend a lot of time in the gym, but they're all, like, fat as well. You know, like, they're like, guys who drink a lot of beer and go to shows and get fucked up and they want to violently thrash to metal music. And, like, when I was, you know, going to shows... I've never been a very big guy. I've never been a very, like, I'm probably the most confident in my physique right now, like, because I've gotten more resilient as I've gotten older. But, like, when I was younger, I bruised like a fucking banana, and same. I had no pain tolerance. So, like, you know, even being on the outskirts of mosh pits, I usually got myself hurt.
Yeah.
And, like, so, you know, at metal shows, it's a lot scarier because of the bigness of the dudes. At this show, it's like a bunch of hipsters, you know, who are, like, at most about my size. So, like, there's a couple bigger guys in there, but they didn't seem like by far the two like broadest dudes in there were only my height.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like 6 foot towering fucking monster men the way it often is at metal shows. So, you know, I was pretty comfortable in that mosh pit. But yeah, it was a great time. If that's all you want to say about it, we can just cut to another episode.
Yeah.
Because that was we have so much to talk about that if we can succinctly make a one topic 1 hour video, then why not?
Yeah, of course.
So that's the story of our Touche Amore show. Join us again next time
for college.
Yeah.
Peace, Holmes.